Going back to the good old days of arguments, huh? I missed it too. Howdy!
Oh, hi, Vaush. Uh, uh,
So wait, when you
accent.
said you're a Chinese national, does that mean if you disagree with the CCP, you're going to get shot mid-convo? Because I don't want that blood on my hands.
Uh, Not really. I have my internal sources to you know.
Just making
I
sure.
I kind of said a lot of things online, and right now I'm still alive. So yeah,
Gotcha. Well, hey, so far so good. All right, hit me up.
United States acknowledge that there is only one China.
Yeah.
So and anything that unilaterally change that declaration will be detrimental to the Sino-US relationship.
Yeah, I guess my main issue is just that I guess past a point I don't really care that much. I think we kind of sign on for a bad deal, right? Like obviously a ton of the stuff that we do implicitly disagrees with the one China policy because we have a separate embassy in Taiwan with ambassador. We
No,
maintain
it's not. It's not embassy per se.
it's not
It's a
right,
cultural exchange uh, a
but like
facility, and
it's
it's
fake.
actually privately owned. It's like a firm.
But it's like it's a fake
It's
distinction
ATI.
though.
I know. Yeah,
Like
ATI. So
in a
American.
in a practical sense, it functions as an embassy. It just
I'm
seems like
sure.
this is
Yeah, yeah.
a
You can talk about all the
non-viable.
paperworks. Paperworks make sense, right? Because America is guided by law, so it's guided by paperwork,
Yeah,
right?
well, if we're sticking to a strictly by the books paperwork like idea here, then
Yeah.
Pelosi visiting feels like a continuation of decades of U.S. policy of treating Taiwan like a separate country in the in basically like a non-official manner. And it seems like we haven't really changed much in that respect. It doesn't feel like it's a deviation from our previous attitude towards implicitly recognizing Taiwan as a sovereign nation without doing so officially.
Chinese national in majority wants Taiwan to China. That is not what CPC wants, right? It's just it's backfiring because of the nationalism it cook up. People believe what they told and want the island back,
Yeah,
and
well,
it's ingrained in every Chinese people's mind
I get
at this
that.
point.
And that's why I think they have to be pushed off that culturally, because if all the propaganda they're getting, from the CCP is like, yeah, Taiwan is actually a part of our, Chinese Taipei is actually just an unresolved revolutionary conflict that we never fully settled. They're actually subsidiary to us. This is our jurisdiction. If they're getting that 24/7, then of course they're going to believe that. But I mean, in every functional sense, Taiwan is a sovereign nation. In every like, in a practical like operational sense, they are. So I think the consequences of allowing China to just kind of finish the job would be really, really destructive down the road. And I'm okay with America coming to its defense and with Taiwan independently choosing sovereignty and dropping the ROC title. And I know that'll cause a lot of like ruckus in China, but I hope the CCP, like cooler minds prevail. I hope despite all of the brinksmanship they posture, they wouldn't actually like risk World War III over preventing Taiwan from being legally independent the same way that it's functionally independent.
Face culture is big in China, right? So if you keep the facade of one China, the CCP is not going to disagree with that. The facade of one China is all CCP ask.
Well,
They are willing to do that right now.
for me personally, I think the best way forward for Taiwan is just dropping the ROC title and declaring independence as a fully autonomous entity.
Okay,
Um,
that will then China will have no choice but to force the unification.
but that would be one China, wouldn't it? If they stopped pretending to be the real China as part of the ROC and we're just like, yeah, we're Taiwan now. Wouldn't that
Yeah,
be the best way of
that
adhering
will be
to?
the unilateral change of the status quo that is set in stone with the Sino-US relationship declaration.
Well,
That's
it's still
unilateral change.
technically one China, right? Because at that
No,
point,
no,
China
no,
would
no,
only
no,
be.
no, no, no. US says China and Taiwan together, there is only one China. Chinese mainland and Taiwan together, there is only one China.
I guess it just
Doesn't
seems like that
Pacific
can't
tie
continue.
which PRC or ROC, but mainland China and Taiwan together, there is only one China. That
It
is the bedrock of Sino-US relationship.
it just seems like there's no way to do that. Like there's no way to maintain
There is
that
facade.
system.
There is facade to keep, but right now, DPP, the setting government of Taiwan is not willing to keep that facade. I'm just trying to say that the facade is sleeping, as China's as mainland China's perspective. That facade is slipping, and they force them no choice but to do the forced unification.
Yeah, but then there's literally no way out long term, because as long as they maintain the facade of, oh yeah, we're totally, part of the same China, that China is always going to have a political pretext for threatening full forced reunification, and there's no way out of the whole ROC one China bullshit without. 'Cause it seems like the only way to fix this is China has to back the fuck off, which is one of the reasons why I'm in favor of America being unambiguously um, willing to commit military support, because it's the only thing that can reliably keep China's hands off.
I don't say if China would successfully invade Taiwan or not. I'm not going to make that declaration. But mainland China is always going to be more powerful than Taiwan. That's just a fact. However, to protect itself from that forced unification, Taiwan, I think, it's best for the Taiwanese people as well, is to keep that facade as long as it could be
But
maintained.
doesn't maintaining it only give China a longer period of time over which to legitimize
Well,
the
China is always going to be exist, right?
I mean, for certainly for a long time, yeah. It's just they have
Yeah,
to get off of this. Like they have to they have to fuck off. Like Taiwan is a sovereign country in every practical sense. It has defied Chinese hegemony and
but the whole
thrived.
world is built upon, at least this neoliberal status quo concerns, is built on the current order of Sino-US relationship. So
Yeah, but
breaking that will eventually break that order.
what does China care about more? Is China going to give up its global trading partners because it's that hooked on having the one island they haven't controlled for 70 years anyway? I feel like we're giving into a bully. Like, we don't have to choose between good Chinese-American relations and them having Taiwan. They don't get a choice. If China has bad relationship with the West, China's economy goes in the drain. They need us, and we need them. The idea that they would sacrifice all of that to maintain legal control over a nation, an island nation they don't have any real control over, seems tenuous. Like, could they do that? Would they really nuke their entire country over, like, the theoretical legal right to a country they don't control? Maybe, but that seems insane. Like, it seems much more likely that, like, maybe you just have to snap the rubber band, right? Like, rip off the band-aid. Like, yeah, actually, Taiwan's separate. Fuck your treaty. We don't believe in any of this shit anymore. Fuck you. Like, none of us actually believed in it. We were all faking. And also, we're going to keep trading, because if we don't, then everything everywhere gets worse. And you're not that crazy. And they don't
But
even control
nobody,
Taiwan. They're not
but
losing
nobody is going
anything.
to rip that bandit right now. So why not just keep it
Well, I
as
mean,
long as it's possible?
we have to keep it until we're ready to, but all that goes out the window if China ever, like, fully invades Taiwan. And I think that stuff like Pelosi visiting keeps the pressure on China. It's a reminder to them, like, you only get to keep this charade going because we allow you to. But in reality, like, you committing to this will fuck over everybody. So eventually you're going to have to back off. I feel like that can be a reasonable. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess it really depends on how crazy the CCP is. Like, if they're crazy enough to end the world over the theoretical legal rights to an island they don't control anyway, at least Russia is fighting over a country they actually are in the process of trying to conquer. China would be fighting
Well,
over
I
the
don't support
theoretical right.
here, Vaush. I don't support Russia invading Ukraine, because Ukraine is a internationally recognized country, but same situation is different for Taiwan.
I mean, you know, Taiwan's not the only non-internationally recognized country that I support. Palestine is a country that I support, even though, you know, it's not recognized in official context or whatever. But I don't think the
Yeah,
legality here is that
but the
important.
world is not going to like break 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 tie with Israel in spite to support Palestine, right?
The question is, would China be willing to break ties with the world in order to maintain the legal mirage of controlling Taiwan? I think they wouldn't, because that'd be really destructive. Even if the rest of the world maintained ties with China, just breaking ties with us would be horrible for the Chinese economy and for our own. So I hope they wouldn't do that. I mean, I agree it's a risky gambit. The reason I'm so concerned over this is because I think that, like, in an era of readily available nuclear weaponry, you know, the idea of China getting blood drunk on conquest like that makes me very nervous, because it won't stop. Russia won't stop, China won't stop. As long as they think that literal annexation is an acceptable method of achieving national glory, I think we're always going to be at risk for nuclear holocaust. And I think that we have to draw the line in the sand before they get like the ball rolling, you know?
Look, right. Vaush, I don't think you understand the Chinese internal situation, because that China don't want war as well. So that they are willing to keep the facade of one China.
Then they
But
keep
Taiwan
threatening
is
war,
not willing.
though. They keep
But China,
threatening war.
yeah, because Taiwan's current government, the PPD, is back down from the one China, different prescriptions.
But why would Taiwan not do that? Like, it's in Taiwan's best interest.
It's political charade, Vaush. What is this? But China is willing to keep that facade, all right? Because of the political struggles in Taiwan, they are dropping that facade. So what makes what makes mainland China the choice, but to keep pressuring for them to back off to that position?
Because they're in the
one China
wrong
policy.
here. If Taiwan, like, in a situation where China is threatening invasion every year for decades, and Taiwan is like, okay, yeah, fuck this, we're not part of China, we want independence. Like, of course they're going to say that, right? Like, China has to, like, every generation of Taiwanese people is more and more connected to Taiwan and less connected to China. Polling shows this. Like, 85% of
Yeah, same happened in Hong Kong, but doesn't mean Hong Kong is not a part of China.
Well, yeah, because we gave it to them, and then in a brilliant display of goodwill, China immediately reneged on their treaty with Hong Kong and basically, like, forcibly conquered it. You know, after, like, disappearing their political leaders. So I can't blame Taiwan for thinking, like, yeah, there is no fucking way we are ever going to let ourselves be controlled by China. After the last incorporated territory China integrated, they immediately fucked over and like made subservient to them, you know?
At this point, you have to ask all the left in the West have to ask a question about: are they willing to keep justice, or are they willing to keep peace? Because if unilaterally Taiwan declare independence, that will mean war for the mainland Chinese.
But they could just not do that, though.
In China's side, the power dynamics between China and the West is shifting. So in Chinese perspective, that power dynamics of West can totally handle China is now in existence. So China has the means to counter West pressure from any point of pressuring, whether it's economic, diplomatic, or geopolitically. So they might just risk it at this point.
So what you're saying is General MacArthur was right, and we should have just nuked all of Southeast Asia to begin with to save ourselves the trouble now. Fuck.
No.
Oh, wait, you're not a MacArthurist? Oh, okay, sorry, I misinterpreted. No. My bad. I misheard. My bad. The earbud crackled. No, no, I think I get what you're saying. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it, but I think it might be a perspective issue. I mean, keep in mind that you're more familiar with internal Chinese messaging, and I'm more familiar with internal American messaging, so what we believe here is probably going to be skewed a little bit by the preconceptions we bring. I'm happy that I talked to you. I'll think about some of this stuff. I think I lean towards my original point, but I think I see some of what you, I think I see the wisdom of some of what you said here. I'll have to think about it. You're a CCP show.